Hey there YouTube, NinjaNick333 here. I'm bringing you my fire, light, water, whatever order I'm supposed to say that in, dragon bottle deck thing. This is what I've been playing the past 2 weeks, and it's been working out amazing. Within the last 2 weeks, I won both of our duel days, so that's pretty great. Mr. Dude 002, Tyler, he's pretty salty because he can't beat me anymore. But it's only since I made this deck. Before I actually figured out how to make this, he was just beating my butt, and I just could not do a single thing about it. And I actually, last night, I noticed, I think it was one of Aiden Thorne's ARG articles, and he actually had, I think the third deck on his list was Water, Light, Fire, Dragons as like a top tier deck. And I'm like, really? Because I just kind of thought of like the whole basis of this deck myself. And I honestly am not surprised, just because of how well it's doing. But I'll get into this. I'll start with the water since it's the smallest section, and start with creatures and then do spells. Only blue creature for water here, Nyx, because Nyx is just the most. I think Nyx is the best Firebird, personal opinion. It's 3 mana, which is a little higher than, you know, Lux or Umbra, but the draw that you get off of this is just amazing. Because probably the biggest problem with dragons is that you have to play so much of your hand into mana, and then you're like, if you've got Herald, you're then dropping extra dragons for free. So it's like there's never anything in your hand. So Nyx really helps with that. Every time you summon a dragon, which if you get 3 of these on the field, which I've done a few times before, you're just, okay, you're playing 3 less mana for a dragon, and then you're drawing 3 cards. So you can play 2 Heralds in a turn for 4 mana and draw 6 cards. That's the power of Nyx, and I just love it. So I'll just summon it as quickly as I can and just let it sit there. And a lot of times it gets banished, but it's like, oh, you just lost your Bone Blades. Try using that on my Lux now. But then after that, for the spells on water side, we've got 3 Logo Scan. There's been quite a few times I considered just cutting this, because a lot of times it just goes into mana, because I'm like, oh, I need a water mana so I can drop the Nyx. And it's like, oh, well, the only card in my hand's Logo Scan that's blue, so I'll drop that in the mana. But then, every once in a while, it's just like, I have enough mana to play Logo Scan, but it's like I'm at 3 or 4 mana, and it's like, I can play Logo Scan, but I can't play the 3 Heralds that are in my hand. So I go play this, and then I just draw into other stuff, and I'm like, oh, those are great. So, I mean, I'm still keeping an open mind. There was one game where I Logo Scanned into 2 Logo Scans, and then the next turn proceeded to play both of them, and then I just drew into so many options I didn't know what to do, because it was just so amazing. Then 2 Crystal Memory, another card I keep thinking about cutting, but it's just, when it's in, because every time I draw it, I just put it in mana. I just don't like hard casting it. I don't know what it is, because it's like I never know what to search for, because I really always have what I need. But then there'll be times when I get it as a Shield Blast and I'll just search for whatever. Like I'll search for Andromeda, or search for Herald, or search for Infernus, just whatever I want, which is amazing. So I've been leaving it in there. And then this card is just so amazing. Bottle of Wishes. I will usually, if I draw it, I put it into mana, but then there's sometimes when it's like, this is the only card in my hand when I draw it, and it's like, well, might as well just hardcast it, and then I get something really great off it, or I get something kind of lackluster, but it's still, you know, shuffle your deck, reveal the top card, and play it for free, because there's nothing in this deck that can't go off with Bottle. I think the worst thing I ever got off of this was a Nyx. So, I mean, that's still pretty good. I've gotten Tetsurion the Unchained summoned to the field with it. as a shield blast. I've also got Bottle of Wishes, hit as a shield blast. Use its effect, get Bottle of Wishes, use its effect in a different deck. I got Tendril Grasp and wipe the whole field clean, which is hilarious. But anyway, I just love Bottle. It's just such a fun card, and it really is all about luck with it. But, I mean, the last tournament, I hit Infernus with it. No, the last 2 tournaments, I ended up hitting Infernus with it, I think. I don't know, it's just amazing. But on to Light now. I've got the 3 Lux. This guy's really good because they have to force the removal of Lux. Because what happens is they go to Terror Pit your dragon. It's like, no, I'll banish this instead. So it's like, oh, I have to waste my Bone Blades on this instead of your blocker so that then I can Terror Pit your dragon. It's like, oh, well, I'm just going to summon another Lux next turn because it's only a 2-drop. And then it bumps all your dragons down 1 mana, which is just awesome. Alright, then after that I got 3 Sunstalk Seeds, just because I really like that I can just drop a blocker early. Because a problem with this deck is the speed. Like, I might not be able to go off until turn 5, and when I, like, can summon Herald. And it's like, well, what do I do till then? Well, I'll drop a Sunstalk Seed, and it's got 3,000 power. That's pretty good. Like, if somebody's got, like, Blaze Belchers on my butt, I can just destroy him. Same kind of reasoning with Star Lantern, but of course Star Lantern's better, because everybody knows you block with this, you tap one of their creatures. So it's like blocking for 2. Plus the 3,000 power is pretty decent. Then after that, we actually get into the dragon part of Light, which is 3 Lyra. My god, this is an amazing card. Like, I'll have, like, a problem card that my opponent has, like, Bronze Arm Sabertooth. I'll just summon this, and it'll just not be a problem for a turn. I'll just summon this whenever my opponent has a problem card, and I'll just be like, no, you can't attack with it the next turn because it doesn't untap during your turn. And then the next turn I can just run it over with Lyra. Of course, unless it's the Bronze Arm Sabertooth. But then I can just drop like a Bolt Tail and be done with it. So, amazing card. Then I've got 2 Andromeda. Perfect at 2. I only ran one when I had one, and it was amazing, and I wish I had it more. And now I have a second copy, and it just goes up. Like, I play this almost every game. Like, because I can search into it with the Crystal Memory, I can get it off a Bottle of Wishes, which, yes, has happened before. You know, I'll be out of shields, and just, like, I'll have, like, 3 Star Lanterns on the field, like, trying to save my butt. And then I just draw Andromeda, and I'm like, okay, tap 9, Andromeda, get 2 more shields. And almost every time I drop Andromeda, one of the shields brought out with it is Stormspark Blast, which is pretty funny. Plus, when my opponent tries to attack me, they have to tap one of their own creatures. So it's kind of like Star Lantern, except you don't have to block with it, which is awesome. Then Andromeda can really run over whatever you want, because of its like 11,500 power, which is just beastly. But then, spell side, 3 Spark Cage. This really combos off with the Herald of Infernus, because, you know, Herald, when it destroys a creature, when it banishes a creature by battle, like when it wins the battle, you can play a dragon for free from your hand. So this taps that creature so you can run it over. Because once you summon the Herald to the field, your opponent's not going to be stupid enough most of the time to actually attack with their creature to, or block with it to, like, tap it. So you can just tap it anyway, and then you get to draw a card, which is pretty cool. And then only 2 Stormspark Blast, or boobies as we call them most of the time, because it really does look like a pair of boobs right here. One of the guys actually calls it booby blasters because it's actually, like, you know, blasting. But I only was running 2 because I could only find 2 at the time, and I know I have 4 more somewhere in my collection, but I was just running it at 2, and really I see it enough. Like, I just have so much, like, field presence that I don't really need to just Stormspark Blast. And, like, most of the time, I have at least 1 Stormspark Blast and shields anyway. Most of the time, it's because I drop Andromeda and it comes off. So, I mean, the 2's just fine in here. Plus, it's like, I'm at 42 cards right now. It's a pretty big amount for me. Like, I'm used to Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, sticking strict to the 40 cards. Just because, like, any more than that, and your, like, consistency is crap. But, you know, so I'm just cutting down where I can. But that's it for light. Get that out of the way. Alright, and then for fire, cheapest thing in here is Herald of Infernus. Now, you might think, why no Kanina? Because that's the Firebird. Kanina's a 4-drop, and that's just, I just don't like it. Just because it's a 4-drop. If it was a 3-drop, I would take out 1 Lux and 1 Nyx and play 2 Kanina. Because it would be really great to just give Herald the extra plus 2,000 powerful attack so that he can run over another Herald of my opponent's, which I want to do a lot. Like, normally I just crash in for Heralds, and it's really upsetting. But the thing with Kanina being a 4-drop is just I can play the Lux, I can play the Nyx, and really 6 Firebirds in a deck like this is really enough. I mean, I could have more, but a 4-drop Firebird, I just don't like it. But Herald, I've already explained this. He beats a creature in battle, you drop a dragon from your hand for free. So that could be Andromeda, that could be Infernus, that could be Bolt Tail, like whatever you want. Now I've got 2 Spellbane Dragons. My god, this is awesome. I kind of want to put it at 3, but then of course the whole space issue. My opponent tries to play a spell, I just break one of their shields. So, unfortunately, this doesn't usually get out until my opponents are out of shields anyway. But when they have full shields, and they go, okay, I need to get rid of the Spellbane, or I need to get rid of the Infernus, and it's like Terror Pit or Root Trap is their only option, then I break their shield. So it's just awesome. Plus, he's a double breaker, so can't beat that. And I kind of like how my ruling was proven by Wizards, because I'm like, well, RTFC, and well, it's not really just RTFC. It's like RTFC plus has this game really made something broken enough so that it can just continuously break shields all at once just because they're all Shield Blast? No. Wizards hasn't made a single broken card in this game. Everything is all ridiculously balanced, which is just amazing. So I'm like, that's the way it has to be. If it gets Terror Pitted, it breaks 1 shield and dies. And then that shield goes off if it's a Shield Blast. Like, that's how it works. And I felt like it was common sense. I can understand why people would think otherwise. Like, they're used to Yu-Gi-Oh!, they're used to Magic, where it's just all ridiculously broken. But Kaijudo is not that way. I'm sure 10 years from now, it will be. I'm sure of it. But right now, nothing is broken in this game. It's just all balanced. And it's just all awesome. So Spellbane. If you're running fire and you're doing dragons, you need 2 Spellbane. It's just that good. Now I've got 1 Tatsuri on the Enchained. I would be playing 2 if I had to. But my local store was selling this. It was like in their... What set is this from? Rise? This is from... It was in their Rise of the Duel Masters binder for $30, and I'm like, you can only find it for $40 to $50 online. So I bought it for $30. And I'm thinking about going online and seeing if I can find another deal similar to that, just to buy a second one. But right now, at 1, it's putting in its work. I've gotten it off a bottle. And then, of course, got the banishing effect the second it got on the field, which is just amazing. But, yeah, you summon this, banish their creature with 4,000 or less. When it attacks and kills a creature once per turn, untap it. And then Double Breaker. It's just... Oh my god, it's just such a good card. I actually had a friend that thinks this... I have a friend that thinks this is a bad card. He's like, why is that $30? That's not that great. I'm like, well, yeah, it is. And I explained it to him, and he still didn't see it. And that's why he's not topping anymore. But it's just such an amazing card. I actually, last week, I let one of the guys on my team borrow it. Because I got my second Infernus. So I'm like, okay, I'll just replace this with the Infernus for this week and see how it goes. Actually ended up playing them and won. They never got the Tetsurion out, but apparently it did work for them, so that was cool. Then I've got 2 Bolt Tail. This was actually Tyler's suggestion, Mr. Dude 002. Because you can attack with Herald and then drop this for free and then go for game. When your opponent's just not expecting it. They're like, oh, you're going to summon something that's not going to be able to attack this turn. Nope, I'm just going to attack this turn for game. Plus, like, it's by the time that you go, like, a lot of times I will just summon a lot of things and just wait. And it'll be like, I'm going to go at all of your shields at once for game. I'll have like 3 double breakers, a triple breaker, and then on the field, and then I'll drop Bolt Tail, and then I'll go and attack for game. Like, I'll just do that because I'm a jerk. And that's what Tyler does too sometimes with his mono light dragons. But the fast attack is really what makes the Bolt Tail good. Before this, when everybody was running Saberbolt, I thought it was the most stupid card ever. Like, why would you pay 8 mana to summon this? Like, at that point in the game, Bronze Arm Sabertooth has already won you the game. So if you're still in the game at that point, you've lost. But now, with the whole dragon things, you can drop his cost. You actually can extend the game that long. Like, now Bolt Tail's a good card. And I like it. And really, the fast attack is what gives it the power. Then I've got 2 Infernus, the Infernus the Awakened. He's boss. Like, if you summon this against, like, the Monofire Dracons, you win. You just have to summon this and you win. Because they can't summon a creature. You just attack over all their creatures after you summon this. Like, if they have any creatures out. And it's like, I win. Because it banishes a creature with 4,000 or less when it's summoned. Your opponent can't summon any creatures with 4,000 or less. Whenever he attacks, banish a creature with 4,000 or less. And he's a triple breaker. So he just makes him all around awesome. Yes, the 9 cost is a little high, but just like Andromeda, you can summon him with the Herald. You can make him cost less with the Firebirds, and it's just awesome. And then the only fire spells I have in here are 2 Dragon's Breath, which is awesome. I do a lot of the times get all 3 effects off. Because the point when I can activate this for, you know, the hefty cost of 7 mana, it really is worth it though, because people will run Barrage over this, and I'm like, but it's 2,000 or less. If it was banish all 3,000 or less, then it would be a good card, but 2,000 or less, it's only hitting like Blaze Belchers, it's only hitting like the Evo Bait for Dracons, it's hitting some really cheap 1 or 2 drop blockers, and that's it. But Dragon's Breath, it can hit Star Lantern and 2 Firebirds. Like, that's what this can do. And a lot of times I'll get it off as a Shield Blast. They'll attack with 1 creature, and I'll banish all 3 creatures they have. And it's like, come at me, bro. So, like, a well-timed Dragon's Breath can really just turn the game in your favor, or anything. Like, it might have been against Tyler. I don't really remember. I got Dragon's Breath off as my first Shield Blast, wiped their whole field clean, and they just couldn't come back from it the whole game. I pushed it so far into late game, and they just couldn't get their stuff back, because I wiped their field clean the first time, and then every time they had a creature, I just got rid of it by attacking over it. But anyways, guys, that's the whole deck. 42 cards, water, light, and fire. I mean, overall, this is done pretty well. I guess I hear that it's a top-tier deck. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that I came up with a top-tier deck myself, though. That's pretty surprising. But, because I have just been, for weeks, I've been just playing around with how to make dragons myself, and I don't feel like if I just net deck, I don't know why. Like, I net decked Dark Saberbolt, and I net decked, I don't even remember what the other deck was. Oh, it was Cobalt Control. And that was right as Evo Fury was ending, right before Dragon Strike Infernus came out, I net decked both of those and used them. Used Dark Saber Bolt in a tournament, and I used Cobalt Control like just in fun duels before and after that. And I lost every single game. Every single, like, I won games, but I didn't win like 2 out of 3 matches. And it was just terrible. And I'm like, why are these decks good? I think it's just because I net decked them. If I actually go out and build the deck myself, then it works pretty well. So if you guys want to net deck it, and net decking actually works for you, go right ahead. I will probably be playing something very similar to this at the Dragon's Den KMC. I'm sure there will be changes by then. Like, I want to see if I can fit Kendrick's the Psionic into here, since I have like 4 copies of it. And I love it so much. And, I want to see... I don't know. There's quite a few cards that I want to try working into this, but I just haven't gotten a way to make them work yet. But, we'll see. So, if you see me at the Dragon's Den, New York, Poughkeepsie, KMC, then I'll probably be playing something very similar to this. Most likely all the same colors at least. So I hope to see you guys there. It would be hilarious if I run against a net decked version of my own deck there. That would be I'd laugh really hard. But I'll see you guys later. Tell me what you guys think I should change or fix or whatever. Hope to see you at those KMCs.